Welcome to The Loop, your weekly dose of all things property management. I'm your host, Colin Stewart, and each week we dive into the latest trends, strategies, and stories shaping the property management world. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, we're here to provide insights, expert interviews, and practical tips to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of property management. Today's episode, we talk to Mark Hutter, the president of Metro Detroit Property Management, about what it really looks like to manage lower income rentals in Detroit, why squatter situations happen, how his team finds them, and the real world playbook for resolving when owners are often remote and relying on local operators to handle messy, high stakes situations. Welcome back to The Loop, your weekly dose of all things property management. I'm your host, Colin Stewart, and each week we're going to dive into the latest trends, strategies, and stories shaping the property management world. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, we're here to provide insights, expert interviews, and practical tips to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of property management. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Colin. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. One of the interesting things that came up in the pre-interview when we were getting kind of mapping this episode out is that you're only spending 20% of your day in the office. Talk to me about that, because you're not new to this. You've been doing this for 18 years now, and only 20% of your days in the office.
Yeah. I've never been a behind the desk guy. I'm more of a like to be out and actually, what my company's doing, be a part of it. So I really know what's going on. I see some companies that, sort of the bigger ones that, they're behind a desk and people, even employees or clients will come to them and say, well, you really don't know what's going on. And I never want to be that. I'm probably like the 180 degrees different than that. Like, no, I know exactly what's going on, So, I'll go out to the properties. I like to know how the contractor's doing. So I'll go out, check on the work after it's done. Cause we're paying them, I got an owner paying them for that. I want to make sure that the work's done. It's quality that is going to be a tenant that is going to be viewing that property. It's going to have everything done, and be where it needs to be in order for us to market it properly and, keep the marketing time down. Just different situations. You had mentioned, the area that we work, we deal with a lot of, sometimes it can be some hostile situations that I like to keep my contractors away from. You just brought up squatters, just to touch on it. That's one of the situations that I don't want any of my contractors to deal with at all. You just never know how it's going to go. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for quite a while. So, I just am, I guess, a little bit more foresight and know kind of how things can go. So when a situation does arise, I feel like I can handle it in such a way that I'm not worried about, potentially it could go south, but I think the probability is a lot lesser just because of the fact that I've been in the situation many times.
I'm curious, from being out of the office so much, what is the structure of the team look like to kind of support you in doing that?
Sure. So, that's really what it's all about. Because of the fact that I feel comfortable enough to be out of the office. I have a manager that's been with me, actually yesterday was 17 years. So the company's been around for 18 years. She's been with me for 17 of them. And the first year I was primarily in my house. I had a extra room in my house. I started the company and I stayed there for the first year. So Jen, she's just phenomenal. So she got to the point where I had a very high confidence level in her to take care of the things that need to be done in the office. Working with the employees, take care of all the human resource stuff, deal with, tenant situations that have to do with the office, and take care of all of that. If I didn't have her around, then definitely things may be different. This conversation might be a little different. Maybe I wouldn't be able to have that luxury of being able to do what I enjoy doing, which is being in the field. I also have an assistant manager now, and his name's Grayson, and he does a great job too. So between the two of them, there's 9 staff members in the office, and they do a great job of taking care of all those, interpersonal relations and just things that are going on a day-to-day basis. So I'm able to do some of the other things.
Totally. When people hear low income rentals, what do they usually misunderstand?
Well, they think it's low end, and they think that it's just going to make a low end tenant, and that's really not the case. The tenants, there's going to be good tenants, there's going to be bad tenants across the board. I don't care what the income level is. It's just going to be a different structure in a different neighborhood, just because of the fact that different neighborhoods have different price points. But that doesn't make the people bad. There's nothing wrong with people. It's just, you just have to know, understand how to manage that group. I don't care if you're doing the high end, the low end, the medium end, whatever it is, you kind of get to work with them, and you find out what their needs are. And then you try to meet those needs as best as you can.
How do you typically find out somebody's living in there? I mean, I guess if somebody's coming to you and saying, "Hey, we know, and we want you to take this property on," you've got an idea. But how does it typically? Yeah, how does the situation typically come about?
So typically it'll just be a contractor shows up at the house. It's supposed to be a vacant house. They've got it on their list of what they're supposed to do, whether it's
Mhm.
change locks, whether it's sometimes even the maintenance, the lawns, because when a property's vacant, they have a lawn service that'll go to it. So, when the weather's right. And they'll say, hey, we know we're only doing vacants. There's somebody in this house. Or the contractor will go knock on, or it might look like somebody's in there, or it looks a little different than when they were there before. They
Mhm.
go in there to start doing things. And one thing might happen, the locks might be changed. So, we've got a lockbox at the house. We got keys in there. They go out there. The keys don't work no more. Okay, something's going on. Or sometimes they just walk in. The keys did work. They walk in and somebody comes out, says, hey, what are you doing here? I'm living here. That can happen. So, like I say, it's kind of across the board, but typically it would be a contractor that would go to the house, and then they alert the office if there's somebody in there, because I tell them that I don't want them confronting them.
Fair. I imagine there's got to be a multitude of different reasons why people are in that situation. Are there some like high level groups of like, y- guy with the mattress on the floor versus a family? Is that kind of how it breaks, or?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's all the above. I shows on one today. I got a call. It was a condo that we manage. So we don't do HOAs, but we manage individual units for owners in condos. The treasurer of the association contacted one of my staff members and said, hey, we know you manage this. What we manage, what, 4 units, I think, in this condo complex. And he goes, I know you manage this one. I know it's vacant, or it's supposed to be vacant, but somebody's in there. We think somebody's in there. So they just contacted us, and then I went over there and checked it out. Sure enough, there was a dude in there, a few kids. But so yeah. So sometimes it will be like literally we'll go in there, and I'll see the mattress on the floor. That'll be it. They'll be very, very simple as far as what they have. Other times it's full blown. You think that they're ready for Christmas dinner for the family there. I mean, they got everything set up. You wouldn't know any difference. I mean, it looks like they really moved in, and that's going to be one of the situations that has been sitting there for a while. So
Mhm.
they feel very, very comfortable at that time. And, that's, they've calling that their home, regardless of what the reality is.
I'm curious that moment that you think that somebody is trying to, like, you notice that you come and the locks are changed. You talk to the neighbors. What else can you do? Because other than like moving a friend in, I mean, even that seems kind of sketchy, because then, so a friend of yours is going to be living there and somebody's going to be trying to come and like move themselves in. That I don't think I'd want to be that friend. So like, what else can you do?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. You can only do so much because, I mean, obviously it's a property that's, with the location, you can't have somebody there 24/7. There's some people that do that. And in fact, back in the day before I had a company, we used to call them sleepers. And I'd have a house, and because I was doing, some flipping houses and stuff, and I'd have a house that's vacant. And I'd find guys, in the city or whatever. And a lot of times my contractor or whatever would say, hey, while we're doing this work, I got a buddy of mine, pay him $20 a night or something like that. And he'll stay here or whatever it might be while we're doing the work. Make sure somebody doesn't go in there and rip stuff up afterwards. Or, you know what, just somebody that, they do it for next to nothing. They just, come down on their luck or whatever, and they'll watch it for you. I'll tell them to be clean, whatever, and they'll stay there for you. So I used to do that. Once I started the company, I got away from it. It's just too much liability. I'm not saying that it still doesn't happen, because we do have situations that some people still utilize that. I've seen people that put some, the fake dog things there. So you'll hear it sound like a dog in there, and it'll be just electronic, alarm systems, of course, alarms can be good. Depends though, because a lot of times these guys are pretty good. They get in and out and get what they want before there's going to be any, type of repercussion or anybody shows up. But all these things, there's different things you can do. If we got a really bad situation, anyone that maybe I know is going to be a problem, or it's a problem, maybe we get somebody out, but I can tell they're going to go back in and be a problem. We put steel. Sometimes we put steel. We can put steel on the doors and the windows. It's the most expensive way of securing the property. But if I've got to really, I'll put that in, probably it's just a small, really small percentage. That I will recommend that we put steel on there, because that's very, very difficult to get into. if when a property is vacant.
What are some like removal options? Basically, I don't imagine it's Mark runs in there and picks him up and chucks him out.
No,
Like
no.
the thought must go through your head from time to time, though.
I wished if I could get away with it and it wouldn't have any legal repercussions, it would be but, no, it's, I'm the kind of guy, I try to be reasonable,
Mhm.
if they're right or if they're wrong, I still wanna be reasonable or because of the fact that I'm only hurting myself if I can only make the situation worse if we don't handle it correctly. I don't want them to burn the house down. I don't want them to tear the house up. I don't want them to tell all their friends to come over and do the same thing. I want to get the house back to vacant for my owner so that I'm able to do what we do and what they make income for them, not be dealing with a squatter situation. So that depends a lot on the person, people that are in there, on how that's going to be handled. Different people react differently. If they haven't been there very long, it's the easiest. And that's why, again, I say it's really important because of the fact that, we need to turn these properties into not have it vacant for a long period of time. If it's a property that they've been at for a long time, because I have some that have been there for a couple of years and nobody said anything about, maybe an owner, again, a new property came over and says, yeah, I know there's a squatter in there. I'm in the UK. I don't have time to mess with it. I just kind of get put off my plate, go see what you can do. So those I can almost tell you off the bat, I'm gonna have to evict them. I'm gonna have to go through an eviction process. They've been there for 2 years. They're hunkered in. The kids are already they're enrolled in the school. If they got kids, they're set up there nice, and then I'm gonna just have to go through the process. But yeah, like I say, it's really all different. We'll see if this guy leaves today. I think he's gonna actually. Some people literally will leave on the scene. They will just walk away with their stuff. Some people say, call the police. I will. Some people, like I mentioned, will say, screw you. I'm going to stay here as long as I want. When the court tells me I have to leave, I will leave on the last possible day. Um, and literally everywhere in between.
If people want to find out more about you or Metro Detroit property management, what's the best way for them to find
Sure.
out?
Yeah. Yeah. I could probably go onto our website. There's a contact us button on there. You can actually set up a Zoom call at DET Pro, like that, pro.com. They go there and they'll see our site. And yeah, we've got they can hit the link. We do a Zoom call or a regular call and we can talk and go from there.
All right. Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right on. Thanks to everybody for listening. We'll catch y'all next time.